Heyo to those that I know, and a howdy do to the folks that are new. I'm Face Seed of A Grafted Branch Face Seed Topicals, and today's topic is game development. Honestly, it's a bit hard to call myself a game developer, considering I hadn't even thought of creating a game until very recently. I don't have any background in coding or in programming, and I only recently got a PS4. You know what? Now that I think about it, I could hardly call myself a gamer, unless you count apps on your phone. But, nevertheless, this did not stop me when I got it in my head to create a game based on my Webtoon. It all started when I was looking for merchandise to sell around my comic. I thought of creating digital planners, stickers, and keychains, but nothing really enthused me. While those things are very lovely, and I do plan to create them, I wanted to create something that was totally out of the box, something that no one would suspect or expect from me. Then it hit me. I remembered I paid for in-app purchases for a mobile game. You know, coins and lives and stuff like that. That's what I should do. I'm going to create a free mobile game with in-app purchases. I was intrigued. The possibilities were endless, but my time was not. This was going to be my first serious attempt at creating a game. I needed to keep the difficulty level low, so something like an MMORPG was out of the picture. Eventually, I landed on the motif of something that was charming and simple. And the only game that fit that theme was a Dark Souls clone. No, seriously, I'm gonna create a matching card game, also known as pairs. I began creating designs for the cards based on the objects or places in the story. I had the bracelets, all 4 colors, the emotimech bands that the characters use to transform, the Poppy Cafe that the characters in the world frequent sometimes. Of course, you know I had to add the Bible, Albert Shard necklace, Terrace heart earrings, and drinks, because I was running out of ideas. These will likely change as I continue working on the game, but for now, I just had to get my foot in the door to start creating pixel art. I've only ever really dabbled in pixel art a few times, but after creating the sprites for the cards, and for some characters, I felt that confident boost to continue with the project. I watched a lot of game dev channels and game dev vlogs, and they all gave the advice that while your game doesn't have to be original per se, it does have to have at least a semi-unique twist. Like my all-time favorite mobile platformer, Dadish. It's a very straightforward platformer, but it's cute how the radish is a dad trying to find his kids. I needed that extra something, but after hours of research and banging my head against the wall, I still didn't have that twist. Later that night, before I went to bed, I prayed to Yahweh, asking for an idea, something that I could create. The next day, I woke up early, in the middle of the morning, and the first thought that came into my head was, a card game where you move the character to select the cards and you have to avoid enemies. Is this the most groundbreakingest idea? No, probably not. Are there similar ideas? Maybe. Don't tell me. I want to stay blind. But it was simple and charming enough for me, and it sounded fun. Now, I realize that the story of Together is Better is mostly about Nate and Tara, who are able to transform using emotimech bracelets to defeat emotion-based monsters. There are no cards involved in that, which is why I took the time to draft up a story, and without further ado, here it is. Cue fake commercial voice that my little sister told me to use in the script. Sherman has bought shipping containers full of valuable treasures that he believes he got for a steal. Well, turns out the scammer got scammed, and the treasure troves are treasure trash. Now looking to turn over a profit after overspending his allowance, he decides to host a charity donation event, rebranding the junk as prizes. Tara and Nate learn about it, but dismisses it as another one of Sherman's schemes. That is, until they take a closer look and discover that one of the bracelets are included in the prizes. And to make matters worse, monsters are appearing on the playing field. Now it's up to Tara and Nate to stop the monsters and win the tournament before the bracelets fall into the wrong hands. Did you survive that? Anyway, now that I had the story and a special twist, I wanted to start coding immediately. And this is where I hit my second hurdle. You see, while I had zeal, I had no knowledge. Unity caused discord in my head. Game Maker Engine didn't have me revved up, and Unreal was too real. As I was slowly falling into despair and resigning myself to the darkness of the black screens of code, that's when I discovered Gdevelop, the self-proclaimed no-coding game engine. Well, really, my sister knew about it and recommended the game engine to me, but at the time I was too skeptical of it and dismissed it without looking into it, which was a mistake, turns out. It had a visual scripting language, a kind of click-and-go system, and on top of that it had plenty of online tutorials and examples on the website and on YouTube. Plus it had a large Discord community that I don't normally use because I'm not normally on Discord, but it's there if I need it. After watching a quick tutorial and playing around with it, I was already having my character move around the screen, and it's so cool! I was super confident that I could make a game now. It was gonna be easy. I don't know what all those videos were talking about. Game development taking twice as long as you expected to take. I'm gonna breeze through this. All I need to do now is make the cards flip over and match. So, I don't know what I thought was gonna happen, but making the code for making the cards flip was deceptively difficult. When I saw the advanced tag on the example section of Gdevelop, I was like, psh, advanced? That must be what they put in for the general public. For me? I'm a prodigy. It's gonna be easy for me. I already got my characters to move, didn't I? I'm just gonna open up the event sheet and see what it looks like. Yeah, so the coding behind even making the cards flip over and shuffle nearly destroyed me. I initially went in and tried to copy it, but just not adding the parts I didn't think were truly needed, like I knew what I was doing. And then of course it didn't work. And then I tried copying it code for code, and then that still didn't work. And then I used ChatGPT to help me create the codes, but it doesn't really work with visual coding. So that still didn't work. Already I was tired. I wanted to quit. I even thought about giving up the whole project. I began working on a separate platformer game that I kinda liked, but it just wasn't my original idea. As I was lying on the floor in defeat and unhappy, I realized that it had only been 2 weeks since I began working on it. 2 weeks! How was I supposed to do all this and expect such high expectations when I'd only been working for 2 weeks? Why was I already on the verge of giving up? The problem was, I was trying to get it done so fast, as soon as possible, that I forgot the most important lesson when trying something new. At the first, you're probably going to be very bad at it. I don't know why when I start something new I secretly hope to be a prodigy and just super spectacular at it from the get-go. And if I'm not, I just quit and go back to the things that I'm good at. Because failing is embarrassing, and many folks, me included, would rather not try than get embarrassed. But if you're learning something new, just embrace wholeheartedly that you're probably really gonna suck at it at the beginning. Unless, of course, you actually are a secret prodigy. In that case, God bless you. So once again, I took a break. I got rid of ChatGPT. Not that it couldn't help me, but at this point, I needed to actually know what I was doing and not just hope that ChatGPT could spit out some code. Because I couldn't understand the code it was spitting out if it was spitting out the right code anyway. I decided that it would be smart to actually read the documentation to figure out what all the terms meant. I went through all the functions and what events and conditions meant because yes, I was that much of a beginner, I did not know. Slowly but surely, I went back to that original card matching event sheet and I very carefully went through the entire event list, making sure that the actions and conditions were in the right sequence. And it worked! Just running around and flipping cards like a champ. I'm just so proud. Now the Nate that you see on screen isn't actually going into the game. Remember back when I tried to make that platformer character? Well, I decided that I really did like that style, so I wanted to mix this Nate and the platformer Nate in one Nate, which you'll get to see in the next video. Along with my monster sprites, and maybe an idea for a boss character. Although I'm still a bit torn on that because I still need to create the basic level, but nonetheless, I'm thinking kinda ambitiously. One thing I do want to avoid is scope creep. Scope creep being the concept that one small simple idea gets expanded into a never-ending added featured mess that usually is to the detriment of the game and to the game developer. It's a very interesting balancing act between making sure I avoid scope creep and making sure I'm not just avoiding things because I don't know how to do them yet. Right now, learning how to code has been very interesting and fun. It never really crossed my mind that I would be able to create a game, but here I am learning the skills that I need. And I guess that's all there is to it, which means I'll be back to pick a topic to nitpick so we can pick up from where we last stopped. Subscribe and comment down below. I'll see you around.